Thank God for the Group Chat is a Fresh Air Media production. This episode was recorded Monday, March 21st, 2022. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of Fresh Air Media or any other entities they represent. The events discussed may have changed by the time you hear this. Episode 152 of Thank God for the Group Chat will start in approximately 30 seconds. Speaking about being let down, is Kanye was harassing Kim Kardashian? And if
Absolutely.
okay, why?
No. Oh, finish the second part, then I can.
No, I'm done. Cause I saw that apparently he got banned from Twitter or Instagram. Or he got banned from some social media platform. He's no longer allowed to perform somewhere because of his recent actions on social media. I'm unaware of what he's been doing as of late. So is what
Um,
he's doing? What's he doing to? What's he doing? What's the man of God doing?
I mean, you said Tim, but I feel like you was gonna say something. I don't know his
who
name.
me,
Yes,
Tobias?
yes,
You can call me
Tobias.
T.
Okay, T.
Let
Um,
me
Yeah.
put the names back up.
so
I still get it right.
I'm a huge Kanye fan. Keith knows this.
You are, you are.
Like the way I produced and started making beats was influenced by Kanye. And so if you ask me, is Kanye harassing Kim? Yes, he is. Um, he I think my headphones are dying. But yeah, he is harassing her. Um, and I don't know if you've got so what's been going on because Keith said he doesn't know. What's been going on is he's been, he's been making music videos talking about Pete Davidson, saying, like in the music video, he's holding a claymation version of Pete Davidson's head, saying this is what he's
Hmm.
gonna do to Pete and things like that nature. Kim's texting him, asking him like, "Hey, could you stop harassing us?" And he's posting it, and then he's just going out his way to. He's even been dating. Oh, he dated a woman that looked like Kim. He's just Kanye isn't well right now, and I say that as a fan. And Trevor Noah stepped forward, and I'm a Trevor Noah fan as well. And I've read Trevor Noah's book. I've
Yes,
wanted to
you
go see
have.
him live and stand up. He's funny, but he's also well spoken. And the things he said about Kanye, he didn't like. If like he didn't say any. It's kind of like if a friend comes up to you and says something to you that's the truth, and if you watch the Trevor Noah clip, he didn't say it with any malice. He didn't say, "Oh, Kanye's doing this." He's like, "Come on, Kanye." He's like, as somebody who appreciates you, he says at this point he didn't even like Trevor Noah is a comedian. He didn't crack a joke. He just said he just said um, it's like we're watching a car crash. He says, but everybody's pointing and laughing, and then he was like, we should like, do we want to wait and see the end result and then think like, oh, we could have stopped this, or do we want to stand tall and be like, hey, let's all stop poking fun of this thing. And because if Kim Kardashian is one of the most richest women in the world, if she's getting abused and we're all pointing and laughing at it, what does it have to say for regular women? And that's all Trevor Noah said. And Kanye made a post calling Trevor Noah a coon.
Hmm.
And and then Trevor Noah replied to that with class. I saw the comment that he posted. And he was like, "Hey Kanye," he's like, "If I'm wrong, just let me be wrong." He says, all I'm saying is my mom was in an abusive relationship and she ended up getting shot in the head from that abusive relationship. So all I'm just trying to do is just speak on the behalf of people who are just watching this in callousness. And and yeah, and even that Kanye, and to me, I watched that Kanye documentary, and one thing I noticed about the Kanye documentary was his friend who was filming the thing. He knew when to turn the camera off because even in the documentary, he said he could tell when Kanye wasn't well. And
Mm.
so, from somebody who has sympathy for people, who empathizes with people, and I still feel like like some people like I hate Kanye, and then some people love Kanye so much that they're just like, yeah, Trevor's a coon. I'm like, nah, if you're a real fan, you'll look at that man in his eye and be like, hey, man, you need help. And he
Mm-hmm.
does.
Hmm.
And and he's going through it right now. So yeah, he's abusing Kim, and I think
Mm,
Trevor did right by acknowledging it.
mm,
I think.
I agree. I agree. And a lot of like what like you said, a lot of what Trevor Noah was saying is literally stuff that if you have somebody, who has experienced abuse or anything of that nature has probably heard before or but it's like those types of things. And I feel like as a woman, those types of things are like overshadowed. They're not really like we don't really have like a very like a strong voice when it comes down to like any type of like domestic violence or even if it's like virtual or just or physical. Because a lot of people say, well, and that's honestly, unfortunately, it's a historical thing. When things happened in the home, that you kept that in the home. You didn't tell people about what happened in the home. You know what I'm saying? So for him
mm,
to do like a public display about it and to also put like, even like some of the like the text messages that Kim was saying, like, hey, like, let's just keep this between us. Like this is our family. You're putting all of our family stuff, like not even just about like, how you feel about Pete or whatever it is, or the person that I'm dating. You're putting like our family stuff, our family beef, all out in the internet just for what? Just for comical reasons. And at some point, it tiptoes between oh, this is funny to now this is dangerous, because then you're allowing the like his fans and everything like that, the hardcore ones who are like, no, Kanye this, Kanye that, like you're allowing
mm.
them to then put energy into that as well, like they're standing behind him, and that's harassment at that point. Like he crossed the line.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm. My only care in this situation is about the children.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about nothing else. Like, but you know what I mean. I hope that both of them are well and all of that. You know what I mean. But like, I'm constantly thinking about, because a lot of what he said, and this is where I champion him or where I'm riding for him, is when he talks about his kids and when he talks about um I wasn't allowed to see my kids. I wasn't allowed, I mean, she told me I couldn't do this. They told me I couldn't do that.
Hmm.
I have an issue with that. Um,
But okay, was that all the way true though? Because in one of the posts, she was like, she responded to him and was like, "Can you stop this? Because you were just able to pick the kids up this morning to go to school."
yeah.
I,
So and that's my only thing. You know what I mean? I'm not saying whether I believe him or whether I believe her. My whole thing is as much as I can know, you telling me everything else, Kanye and
Hmm.
Kim. You know what I mean? But if y'all would let me know this, how much of it is true that he's not allowed to see his kids now? Something it may be something like this. I wasn't allowed to do this. Yeah, but I allowed you to do this. And it's like I need to have a say in my kid's life. You know what I'm saying? I move next door to you. Um, if you said if you move next door to her or across the street or whatever, if you moved there for the kids, great. If you move there to harass this woman and be in her face and to say nana nana boo boo, I have an issue with that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But like that's my whole thing.
True.
You saying all of this stuff, if you saying anything disparaging on Instagram, that's wrong, because one day your kids are going to be able to go back and look at
Hmm.
all of this tomfoolery and tomfoolery seems so very light to see. Let's call it what it is. If it is indeed this harassment, you know what I mean, that you've
Hmm.
done to their mother, and say Kim is withholding them from him, they'll be able to see all of that also. Neither party is correct if that is happening, and I pray to God that it's not happening to
But
them.
okay,
But mhm.
yeah,
playing
I don't
devil's
get that.
advocate here, if that is the case that he wanted to, that he's doing all of this for his kids, would you want somebody who is probably unwell to be around your kids?
I
Even
would
if, I
want
mean, of course
some.
it is.
Say it again. You broke up.
Oh no, I was just go ahead. Go ahead.
You said would I want somebody? Would I want him around my kids if he was unwell?
Yeah, like if like yeah, like as I mean, because you got to think of it. I
Yeah.
mean, like I said, from a woman's standpoint, my whole
Yeah.
job is to nurture and to protect my kids, right? Or our kids.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say
Yeah.
my our kids. That's my job
Right.
is to nurture and to protect them. So if I know that you are unwell and I'm seeing this like sporadic behavior, would I really necessarily want you around them? I'm not saying to cut
It,
off like all communication or anything, but that I don't know what you would do. I can't, you know what I'm saying?
I
I don't know.
I
s-
I'm sorry. What you saying, Zaki?
Go ahead, man. Cause I'll go after it. I'll go after you.
I I watching the whole thing. So I agree with you about like that. At the same time, though, I because I kind of I look at what Kanye's doing, and to be 100% honest, I don't think it's for the kids. I think it's all very manipulative, and the reason I say that is because I know somebody who um, has had a kid with somebody who's very narcissistic, and this person would say he was doing all this stuff for his son, or he was doing all this stuff to get back with his kid, but then when push comes to shove, he actually like cut her brakes and could have harmed her and the son. And really, it was all a control thing because I look at some of the moves that Kanye's doing, and I'm like, Kanye, if it was all for the kids, what's up with that video of you holding Pete's head? If it's all for the kids, why are you like doing these performances where you're asking for her back? If it's all for the kids, why are you? And it's all starting, and then it's kind of like you do this thing where you do all of these things, and then like I've seen women who are been like afraid for like. So I'm one of those people who's like, man, there's some good fathers out there. Keith's a good father. I have like my friend Chris. I know some amazing fathers, and then when they're fighting for their kids, I champion for them. I'm like, dude, let,
Mhm.
let my homie see his kids. Let my homie. But then also at the same time, it's like cops. There's some like we gotta acknowledge there's some bad cops out there, and then the cops acting like it's just a few bad cops. Like no, it's a few crazy people out there who honestly I know people who are in situations who said like he trapped me. He literally said he got me pregnant on purpose just so he would keep me around. And so then that to me, Kanye has had an unhealthy obsession with Kim Kardashian for a while. If you listen to his music, he's mentioned Kim Kardashian before he even knew who she was. When asked when did he know Kim Kardashian was his wife, he said when I saw her in a magazine. And so then and so then a lot of the stuff that he's doing, there's stuff that he says about the kids that I agree with. Then I'm just like, yeah, they shouldn't be doing all this on TikTok. Or yeah, this, that, they shouldn't, like, why there's certain stuff that he says that I agree with. But just like there's the other stuff where I'm just like, man, like he's doing this thing where he's like, I'm a cut your brakes, but then I'm gonna be like, you won't let me see my son, and then everybody's like, oh, he just wants to see his, because I see it online where people just like, let this man defend his son, and then they're ignoring the sign, like because like if like in Trevor Noah's book, he talks about that, like his mom went to the cops, and then the stepdad would say stuff like, I was just trying to hang out with my son, and then the cops would be like, let the man hang out with his son, and so then I think sometimes in certain situations I'm like, I have a good dad. I have a great dad. Like I said, I champion great fathers, and I know there's some women who prevent good fathers from being good fathers. I know that's the case. In this case, I feel like Kanye is no, and then he has such a following where it's like he can do, like if you watch the Trevor Noah clip, or you watch like some of the other stuff, it's like it's kind of like if I see a friend pushing like their kid or pushing their kid, and then I'm like, hey man, why are you bullying your kid? And they get mad at me. It's one of those things where it's like Kanye's like he's like a pit bull backed into a corner, and anytime you're just like, hey Kanye, chill out, he's like, no, you're crazy. Like, nah, bro, get help. So yeah,
Okay, go
yeah.
ahead, Keith. We were ready to hear your point.
Tobias, check your Wi-Fi. Was anybody else having issues?
No.
Nobody was having issues.
It's just
Okay,
me.
it's just me. Hope it's just me. So hopefully it'll turn out all right on the other end. Um, thank you for that, man. Thank you for the
Mhm.
insight for sure.
Mhm.
Agree.
Here's what to answer your question, Tiffany. Should he be allowed to see his children if what if what did you say again? I want to make sure I have you correctly.
If he is mentally unwell or unstable, or mentally unwell, unstable, and exhibiting that type of behavior, should he be allowed to still see them?
Yes.
And why? Like why? Like
Why?
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 Because hmm
Because that's their father.
I I get that.
No, it's literally that simple. It really is. So I'm not saying that barriers shouldn't be set in place. I'm not saying certain things shouldn't be set in place for them to be protected and for
Hmm.
them to be shielded somehow and for her to be protected or anything like that. And my thinking is she is a person that has all of these resources at her disposal. She could have been like, it's not no regular run of the mill person. This is a woman who is in law school and knows the law and can say, look, yo, and can get stuff expedited and say, yo, this and that is happening. Yo, we need a mediator in here. Yo, we need a guardian ad litem in here. Yo, we need we need a psych evaluation for him so that we
Hmm.
can get this properly readjusted because this isn't happening da 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 da. So so yes, in every single circumstance they should be able to see their father. So it's not about him being able to see his kids, it's about them being able to see their dad. So it's what I'm saying. So you got people that have like molested children and all of that type of stuff, and even fathers that have molested their own kids. They are still allowed to see their kids, not alone, not by
Hmm.
themselves, and they got all of these things set in place to. But that is it's at the very bare bones of it all. And if we don't want the kids to be jacked up even more than what they're going to be jacked up, it's not an option of whether they should see them or not. It's how frequently, it's when, it's in the why is because that's their dad. That is the
Hmm.
why. So so with that said, um I'm not saying that none of those things are happening for other reasons. For I'm not saying that those things are happening like, well, I'm mad at Pete Davidson because he's doing stuff with my ex-wife and all of that type of stuff. That could very well be true, but I think people really underestimate, and mothers don't underestimate this. A lot, let me not say every mother, but a lot of mothers don't underestimate this. But a lot of mothers that do certain things and keep the father away from the kids know exactly what it does psychologically to the father. So maybe we can need to consider that Kanye is not only acting out because his mother passed away, but Kanye is now acting out because, yeah, and people like, yo, he's on a power trip because he got $6.6 billion. He's the richest black man ever in the world. And he's just tripping because he ain't got power over his kid's life. He ain't got no say over his kid's life. Well, duh. They're my kids. It's not to say that I'm supposed to have the sole say, but I am supposed to have a 50-50 say in what goes on in my kid's life. Yeah, that's going to jack up a person with power. Yeah, but yeah, that's going to jack up a father. That's going to jack up a person who's been saying like, yo, this is how we need to move. I'm trying to live like a Christian. I want my kids to be living like this. I don't want my daughter on TikTok. She's too young to have a TikTok. I've been saying that, and y'all said that, oh, well, I'm tripping because I want power. No, TikTok, she on TikTok, and all of this crazy stuff happens on TikTok. It's to say, it's to say, I do want say in my kid's life, and she and from what I'm understanding is, yo, you can come to this, but you can't come to that. Yo, you can do this, but you can't do that. No, 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 no. And I'll say for me, not to put myself completely into this, but just to give you, just to let you know that he ain't the only one that might potentially be thinking like that. And if he wrong, then I'm wrong. You know what I mean? But that was something that I said I'm not ever going to let happen to me. Not willingly. Not willingly. I'm a dad. And so what you're not going to do is push me out of my kid's life by me not having any sort of say in my children's life. As if I'm some type, like, thank you for having these beautiful kids for me. We'll see you when we see you. And they just gonna come up however I want them to come up.
And
You know what I mean?
yeah, and I'm
Yeah,
and that's and
I'm pretty much
I'm
done.
not
Go
saying
ahead.
okay, and I'm not saying that either. I'm just saying, like, in this moment, I mean, but I don't have kids, so I can't really speak to all of that,
Oh, but
anyways.
thank.
But
Well, you reminded me, like, but that whole Pete Davidson thing. I'm not. Maybe I'm not. I'm just, just to play. Let's play. I mean, if he's the devil, let's play devil's advocate. Um, I'm not even mad that you is doing stuff with my wife, bro. I'm mad that you think that you got to say in any of this. Why are
but
you
he
talking to me?
He
Yes, he
didn't do
does.
anything. He didn't.
Wait. What do you mean he ain't doing anything? You
He didn't
getting
say
on the
nothing
daggone.
until after Kanye was
I
harassing
don't,
him.
fam,
right, yeah.
fam. Listen. You are, if you around my wife, potentially you around my kids.
Ugh.
I'll leave that there. I'll leave that there. I have an issue with that. You around my kids, which means potential. I don't like the way you move. And and Tobias being a Kanye fan, this man ain't the best communicator. He ain't the best communicator. So I'm gonna communicate myself through my art. I don't like you. I don't like you. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you know and my kids know through whatever art that I'm creating that daddy don't like this man. So if I'm hearing word that my father don't like this man, yeah, I don't like you neither, potentially, because I like my daddy. And yeah, I'm gonna put on a show for your mom and all of this type of stuff, and y'all gonna be there front row and center. Why? Because I want y'all to see that your dad fought for your mom, that your dad fought for this life that she don't want no more. I'm gonna say
But then
all of
at
these
some
things.
point,
I'm gonna go on the podcast and talk about
mhm.
how I'm fighting for my family and talk about how my I don't have a home. My home is when I see my daughter on FaceTime.
But the one thing that you just said in there was like you're fighting for her. You overstepping your boundaries at that point. If I'm telling you that I don't want to be with you, and we just need
True.
to make sure that we have this household for just our kids, and we need to make sure we have this partnership just for our kids, that's what we
Yeah,
need to focus on. I'm telling
I
you,
agree.
I don't want to be with you.
And then
I agree.
also,
Yeah.
and then
I agree.
also, it kind of goes back to that narcissistic thing because in all,
True.
if I'm fighting for if I'm if I'm fighting for a relationship, then I think we can all usually say like, yeah, if we're like out of a relationship, it's okay to date around. But then to like be like, I don't like who you're with, and then flaunt not one but multiple women. Like I don't like who you're with. This it seems like such a controlling thing. And then
But that's
to
all he's
to
doing.
also go back to what you were saying about like you right, she's a woman of power. She's a lawyer. So then the point that Trevor Noah, not to keep going back to what he was saying was if Kim Kardashian is having trouble like because everything you're saying is like we don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but you're right, like it's almost like she probably it's kind of like if I can't even have a conversation with you about you like just suddenly taking it to Instagram, then how can I move in a way where I'm like, yeah, let's try to do a psyche val, but then how can I even move about this man turning into Trump and then twisting everything I say and then making me seem like the enemy when I can't even
A
have a
psych
conversation?
evaluation. So a psych evaluate. This is what a psych evaluation is. A psych evaluation is something that you get administered by the court.
Mm-hmm.
They come out
Mm-hmm.
they come out and they assess this person over time, whether it be them at work, whether it be them with the kids, whether it be them interacting with people, whatever, you know what I mean, whether it be them asking questions and all. It don't, I'm asking for the psyche valuation. And so a lot of times what the judges do is they wind up giving the person that asked for the psyche valuation a psyche valuation also. So they say that if you want a psych evaluation, if you want the parent to be psych evaluated,
Evaluated.
is that psych
Evaluated.
evaluated? Thank you. That you should just ask for one yourself also because they about to give you one too. So just ask for
Mm-hmm.
one for the both of y'all. So so it wouldn't involve me. You don't have to have a conversation with me. They will be able to see your inability to have a conversation, your inability to have a conversation with me, and your ability or your ability to have a conversation with other people. So I'm now removed from it. There is a third party that now steps in that says X, Y, and Z. This person is unstable and unfit to be a parent to these kids from a normal standpoint. So, and then the judge will go forth and said, okay, well, based on X, Y, and Z, this is what is going to take place. But what the judge is almost never, ever going to do is say you lose all rights to your kids and you don't get to see your kids. They're more than likely never going to do that because they understand the foundation that children must have.
Yeah, they would put a custodian involved in any visitation or whatever. So
Right,
it'd be like a third party, right?
right.
Like, and the only thing he absolutely is harassing and it's abuse, right? But he's a narcissist. We've all established this even when we
This
talked
is true.
about everything before, right? Um, but also she's not completely innocent in this because I'm sure there's manipulation on her side too. Their whole her being one of the richest women in the United States is all based on her exploiting personal life and personal gain.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't say that they're both not at fault. They're both manipulating each other.
Yeah,
And
and
like
they're both
that's
gaslighting each other, and yeah,
she
a little
knows
bit. Let
exactly
me
what
maybe she's
maybe not
better
as
at
much
it.
she's
She,
better at it. And
she's
she knows
better.
exactly what to push in order for Kanye to go off the deep end. Like when
Yeah.
this first started, he was he's been messed up. He needed therapy since his mom passed, right? But he was getting better, and it seemed like everything was getting to be in a place where he was almost back to normal. And then this pushed him over the edge again, and we're starting to see like classic crazy Kanye because now, just like Keith was saying, now I had this I made this world of mine, and in my view, because I'm a narcissist, I'm always the victim. She ripped that out of my life, and I can't get back to it. So
Hmm.
they're both harassing each other. It's just she's finessing it better than he is.
And because
Agreed.
From my
she's
view.
not as she ain't as manic as him, so therefore she can
Hmm.
control the situation. But if this is happening,
If
she
this is
can
happening,
control the
that's what it's looking like.
situation. Right, exactly. So we want to shoot her some bail there, but it's probably happening.
Yeah.
In my opinion. So like um she can control the situation better because she knows what makes him tick. She knows what sets him off. She knows all of these things. I mean, you might have known that you don't like this man, and you probably told me some things about this man. And I also know that I'm one of the most desired women in the world. So I know that I can virtually get any man that I want. So let me pick this one man that is totally not my speed, but I know that he gonna tick you off mainly for those reasons. I
And
done
we both
dated Reggie Bush, Chris Humphries, Kanye West, Ray J, and now I'm with Pete Davidson.
and we
Apparently, it's
Okay,
because she wanted some normalcy to her life. She didn't want the
cause he's
limelight
normal,
like
cause
all
he's normal,
he's
cause
normal.
he's normal, and
Right.
and he not on TV every Saturday.
Right. And
True, but that was the point.
I was just about to say, let's not forget that every time Kanye goes to Saturday Night Live, he has an issue, and I'm sure they
Hmm.
got into it backstage at least once before any of this happened, because Kanye West is an acquired taste at best,
Right.
personally.
I do want to say this. Pete Davidson, thank you for sticking up for somebody else's wife. That's cool, I guess. But it is not your place to tell me as my children's father what a great mother I my children have. That is not your place. I don't care how much you sat and watched all of this go on. That is something that and that's how you don't have no kids. You can't no man sit over there wherever he at and tell me how good I've got it. I'm lucky. She's the best mother I've ever known. She's the best mother you've ever known.
Yeah.
He was just trying to defend his woman. I want somebody to stick
No,
up for me like that.
Are they?
there's
I
a
don't even
place
think. I don't
you
even think they're together anymore.
They probably aren't. Like they
they
probably
probably
aren't.
are. Like, 'cause once you say, if I ask you where are you, and you say in bed with your wife, okay, yeah, nah, we got a problem. Let's break up.
Yeah.
Let's break up. Let's break up. Cause you not, cause Kim is gonna have a hard go at it because hardly anybody sees her as a regular human being, as a person. It's
Right.
something to be acquired. It's something to gain status with. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Even this current man that is now her latest ex-husband says, "Oh yeah, I saw you in the magazine and this, that, and the third." And I give Kanye a lot of financial advice. You give me a lot of advice, but I don't listen to you. Like you're a prize to be won. You're not a human, and that's the sad part about it.
That's another issue that we should talk about on another day, how women are viewed as
Absolutely,
objects, but okay.
absolutely. There's a woman topic that I'm waiting. Alana, she might be coming on, so I kind of want to wait to the end to talk about it.